Hi, everyone. I'm Susan Winter for SusanWinter.net. And you know, throughout the decades that I've been working with age gap couples, one question keeps coming up over and over again that I get from women, and they are so worried and so concerned that they're going to ruin the life of their younger partner. So much so that I find that the women that have a young guy that's interested in them are writing me because they are trying to push him away because they don't want to limit or harm his future. And those who are involved, madly in love, are also trying to find a way to convince him out of loving them for fear that they will ruin his future. Now, I'm going to deconstruct this for you because I need you guys to have the 360 view of what's going on, because you are right now seeing it from a beautiful and ethical standpoint, but you're not seeing the full picture. So first off, any woman that asks this question, that says to herself, I am responsible for what I create here, I commend you and I applaud you, and I'd be honored to meet you. You're the kind of woman I respect and admire. So think about it. Your ethical concerns, your awareness of the degree of participation and its impact in somebody's life is so great that you would exit a relationship that you want to have, leave somebody that you love, simply because you have the capacity to love to a degree that you would do what you think is right for them at your personal expense. Now, that does not occur every day. That's only a game that older women can play that know how to love. And I mean really love. Not just want and want to possess or have. That is a mature and a beautiful love. It's not going to be necessary, as you'll find out. But let me contrast this to who you were when you were younger. Did you ever worry about your impact on a man at 20, 25? Maybe even 30. No, this level of mature other thinking can only occur with a woman who's lived life and has some great perspective. So first off, you're amazing that you've asked this question. Here's why you don't need to ask it. You might have noticed that men are pretty good at making up their own minds when we don't get in the way to influence them. Just because your guy's young, don't think that it's your job to think for him. As a matter of fact, that's a violation of his independence. It's not your job to tell him what he wants. It is not your job to correct him with whom he should be dating. It is not your job to push him away. It is not your job to get him interested in Karen, who's only 26 down the street, because she would make maybe a better wife and mother, and you can't do that for him. That is not your job. It is your job to love him. It is your job to allow yourself to be loved by him. It is not your job to use the power that you have mentally and the sway that you have emotionally to convince him out of what he knows is right and true for himself. That is not in ethical order. Your ethics are right, but they were skewed. Listen, you might have noticed that men are pretty good at moving toward what they like and away from what they don't like. Give him some credit. He knows what he's getting into. And every day and every moment that he chooses to love you more and more, he is aware of that cost. He might not have children. He's going to work that out. You'll work it out together. He might not have a trajectory that looks like other guys his age. And you know what? He doesn't care because he wants you. And what he's seeing in you is more delicious to him than whatever the normal routine is for somebody to progress chronologically and have those marker experiences that did this, did that, check that box. He doesn't want that. So don't talk him out of what he wants. I know it's hard to wrap your head around. And when you care for somebody, you think, the last thing I want to do is hurt them. But you are hurting him and hurting yourself if you don't give yourself permission to be loved. Remember, he is young, he is not stupid. He may be new to life by years that you have already lived, does not mean he's vapid, does not mean he doesn't know himself. These are not your decisions to make, and it's not your obligation to protect him from the relationship that he wants to have. It's a beautiful thing to not want to hurt our partner. I know that. But I have seen so many women force their guy out of their life. And like I said, even I was using the example of Karen down the street, but I've seen them set him up with somebody's daughter to try and push them together. Here, you two are similar in age. You go love her, not me. And meanwhile, their heart was breaking. We live in a new time period. This isn't the one that I had to experience. It is a lot more information has come out. People are much more inclusive as to their lifestyles and what choices they make. And hopefully people are getting to know themselves more and live by their own independent means and not in relationship to what their society says. Let this love be. You will work it out. Like any relationship, there are going to be pluses and minuses. But don't take yourself off the table as an initial minus just because you think that it's the best thing. The highest and ethical choice that you could make is to love with an open and pure heart, as you already are, to merge with him, and if anything, to show him the depth of a mature love that knows how to love without selfishness. Now that's a transit worth going on, and that's certainly a transit worth holding his hand and walking forward with him. I hope this helps you, and please remember that on my website I have probably about 60 articles just dedicated to older women and younger men on any question that you may have. Hope this helps you. Susan Winter for SusanWinter.net.